So this would be a question for you folks, if you would be open to describing what you feel climate change is. How would you define it? What are its characteristics? The climate does change. We have winter, fall, summer, spring. We have different climates at different altitudes. We have different climates in different countries. We have different climates on the ocean rather than on the land. And there, as you said excellently, there are dynamics of climate change. The heat across the United States at this time, over 100 degrees in many, many different places, some might feel that that's a sign of climate change, of man-made or humanity-created climate change. Does it make sense that the world and the ecosystem constantly is in a state of rebalancing itself, in a way, shifting out of balance into balance, out of balance into balance? If there are too many deer in an area, if they proliferate too much in a forested area, they starve, and then that ecosystem imbalance is corrected by the attrition or dying off of some of the deer. So this ebb and flow process, like the waves here on the beach, is a constant dynamic. And that said, the earth, the ecosystem, has its own willingness, its own process, its own calculus, its own decision-making dynamics of what is balance, what is necessary, what is the way things need to be. And that process of balancing and rebalancing of the ecosystem is not something that humanity has learned to dance with as of yet. I mean, not current modern humanity. Perhaps indigenous peoples have lived in balance and in harmony with the environment. That said, we have grown out of touch with it and thus lost the rhythm, if you will, that would be required, the perception of it, so to speak, the rhythm of the seasons and the dynamics of the ecosystem. And in addition to that, we've also created massive unresolved imbalance, eating up many of the species in the world, and simultaneous to us proliferating, simultaneous to us polluting. And so the balance that you were describing there, and the resolution of imbalance, we would suggest is a necessary thing. It's necessary to understand the importance of balance, necessary to reassert balance, necessary to be aware of that which is necessary to bring about rebalancing, and to prioritize that balance more highly than having what we want. That last bit is very, very important. If we want a Western lifestyle more than we want to be and live in harmony with nature, or if we want a Western lifestyle more than we want to balance our relationship with nature, then we're going to shift out of balance with nature. So is this prioritization of balance potentially a key element of what's required to solve for climate change, and whatever its dynamics or whatever its cause? If we have previously prioritized Western lifestyle, fast food, having what we want, above balance and harmony with nature, is it now incumbent upon us to choose, if we want to survive and if we want nature to survive, is it incumbent upon us to choose to prioritize rebalancing and reharmonizing our relationship with nature above having what we want? So, for example, if we have expectations of what life is supposed to be like. How many parents have an expectation or a desire or motivation to ensure that their children have a better financial life or a better life of luxuries or comfort or education than they themselves had? So does it make sense that that would need, in essence, to be given up? And how many parents would look at themselves as failures if they didn't offer that better life or ensure that better life for their children? So, resetting both expectations, beliefs, values, motivations, desires, decision making strategies, approaches to solutions generation, approaches to attaining desired goals in life, mapping them one by one by one in every dimension to how does this regenerate harmony with the environment? How does this regenerate the environment? How does this heal the planet? How does this diminish our destructive effects on the planet? It's a very nuanced process and it's a very necessary meditation. So we very much agree with your thoughts and statements, and we would suggest that hopefully this is a useful metaphor. Uh, if you were walking down a path and you were wearing a long cloak that was being blown around by the wind, and on both sides of you were thorn bushes, does it make sense that the cloak could be blown into the thorn bush and get hung up, and you might try to move forward and not know why you couldn't? And the only way to really find out uh, and find out what was holding you back and free yourself from it would be to stop and turn around, walk back, find where the cloak was caught in the rose bushes, and carefully extricate it without tearing it, and then more consciously move forward so you didn't get hung up again and again and again. So this is a metaphor for this process of saying, well, the if we're going to define a path forward that is honoring and respectful and loving and healing and restorative to the natural world, what within us is as of yet not resonant with that choice, either as individuals or as collectives. And then if we understand what is not resonant with it or what is antithetical to it, we say, well, of course I want to restore the environment and I want to have a giant SUV that runs on diesel. So I can do that, right? I love the planet. I love all of these species. And I want to be able to fly on jet airplanes all around the world and pollute with jet engine exhaust. Well, of course, I love all of the animals and insects and the plants, and I absolutely don't want to give up eating meat or burgers or cows, even though they create methane and waste products and are harmed in the dynamic of being consumed. So helping people have a process, a methodical, step-by-step process of transforming their lives, like making a list of all the different things in their lives and offering them that list. And this is something that we're contemplating in the SME, by the way, of listing every aspect of their life that either is damaging to the environment or is polluting or affects their carbon footprint or is not harmoniously oriented towards the environment or won't generate a sustainable future. Perhaps an app that we can create that works on the SME so that people have a roadmap that they can build for themselves. They can assess in what area of my life am I polluting? In what area of my life am I creating more carbon? In what area of my life am I uh, making it impossible for future generations of human beings to have a livable planet? So this is just something to contemplate, not something to feel anxious about or worried about or self-judgmental about or hurting oneself in regard to. That said, just to a tally or inventory that can help us make wise choices. We didn't answer this one question at the bottom of the screen. We apologize for that. Why is it supposedly not clear and simple as to what climate change is? And we just wanted to offer a couple of reflections. One is that it expresses itself in so many different ways. It's not just, it's many dynamics all at the same time. Certainly it's an increase in temperature. Certainly it's an increase in the intensity of storms. Certainly it's an increase in fires or drought or damage to properties by hurricanes and things like that. Those are manifestations. Those are gross expressions and examples, and they're simply symptoms of other dynamics in the environment, whether it's the burning of fossil fuels or whether it's the burning of plastics or the production of steel or concrete, which create a lot of carbon in the air. There's not an obvious and direct correlation. We don't, aside from increases in temperature or changes in weather, for most people, they don't have a way to say and have it register in their systems that this is happening for all of these 100 different reasons. And they may not want to feel that or realize it because they then might feel that they don't have a way to positively affect the situation because it has so many different dimensions to it. And still, there are many ways to positively affect it and to solve for it, to heal the world, and to change our lifestyle into greater harmony with the ecosystem and sustainability. And so being willing to see all of those different dynamics and dimensions is part of what's necessary for us to change our lives, ourselves, our national and international life process. And because it's so multidimensional and so not simple, it can feel daunting. And that fear of processing all of it and understanding all dimensions of it actually can make it difficult to see all of the dimensions all at the same time and accept that all of it is happening all at the same time and take action in as many areas as we can to make it better and act and talk about it in constructive ways that are not stress producing. So we hope to help communicate why it might not seem clear, why it might not seem simple, why it might seem daunting, why it might seem challenging, and also to express that there is hope. We have faith. We all can do this. We can solve this riddle together, and it takes all of us to do it.